Hello again, brothers and sisters. I'm coming to you right after the earthquake in Haiti. This catastrophe has caused many to question why God would allow such a thing to happen. Some have even suggested that it was because the Haitians had a deal or a pact with the devil, that they would agree to serve him in order to be freed from French colonial rule. Well, brothers and sisters, there's something we need to realize. That it's not just Haiti where there's sin, because some are even suggesting that, hey, in Haiti they practice voodoo and they are more sinful or more wicked than other nations. Okay, when you look at a place like Indonesia, where the religious practices of these people, hey, they are more sinful or wicked, and this is why they are being hit with these catastrophes such as tsunamis and earthquakes. Okay, even in New Orleans they had the hurricane. It was because of the sinful behavior of the people. What people need to realize in general and as a whole is that the whole world is full of sin. Okay, not just in Haiti, not just in Indonesia, in East Asia, or New Orleans, but all over the world. For the most part, nobody is keeping the laws, the statutes, and the commandments of God. For the most part, people have taken this Holy Bible and totally disregarded it. I mean, even when you look here in the United States, you have a country in which people are fighting fiercely for the right for homosexuals to marry. You have a 50% divorce rate. You have all types of sexual impropriety among the people. And not to mention the illegal and unjust wars that are caused by those in power. You have all of this economic thievery when you look at the economic situation here in the United States and all the money that was stolen from the people. So you have all of these things, all this wickedness. So what's the difference between the people in Haiti and the difference between the people in the United States or in Europe or in everywhere else? Brothers and sisters, what you need to understand is that it's going to be the same for you if you don't repent. Death. Okay? And again, people question, why does God allow such things? Well, when Adam and Eve sinned, death entered into the world. And with death comes disease. With death comes illness. With death comes catastrophes. With death comes even the dying of little babies. You have all these things because of sin. See, this entered, or the door was opened because of sin. Okay? And if you don't turn from sin, there's more of this to come. And when you look at where we're headed and the time we're in, because if you believe it or don't believe it, we're in the latter days. We're in the last days, approaching the second coming of Jesus. We are going to go through the Great Tribulation, and then we're going to have the second coming of Jesus, which is going to be full of wrath. If you think Haiti was something, you haven't seen anything yet. If you think the tsunami that hit, that killed hundreds of thousands, you haven't seen anything yet. Okay? So we're going to read some scriptures, first dealing with Haiti, but then dealing with what we are about to embark on as a species. So let's first deal with Haiti. I want to read this to those who believe that the Haitians were more sinful than the Americans or anyone else. This is from Luke 13 and verse 1. It says, "There were present at that season some that told him of the Galileans whose blood Pilate had mingled with their sacrifices." Now this him is referring to Jesus. So some came to him talking about what had happened to these Galileans, how they were destroyed, how they were killed, and then their blood was mingled with the sacrifice. Listen to the answer Jesus gives these people. "And Jesus answering said unto them, Suppose ye that these Galileans were sinners above all the Galileans, because they suffered such things?" So he asked them, he says, do you believe that they were so sinful, or their sin brought forth that outcome, that they would die such a horrible death? Okay, so he asked them this question, and then he says something. He says, "I tell you, nay, but except ye repent, ye shall all likewise perish." So what he told them, he said, look, they were not more sinful than you. And as a matter of fact, you better repent or death is in your future. And then he referred to the second death. And that's where most people are headed. The majority of the world is headed for the second death. We all have a first death coming if we don't come into the knowledge of God and be here when he makes his second coming and he resurrects us. If we don't see him, at that time we are going to suffer death. But why did it come from? It comes from sin. But see, some or many are going to embark that second death. Okay, so he says, suppose ye that these Galileans were sinners above all the Galileans, because they suffer such things? I tell you, nay. But except ye repent, ye shall all likewise perish. And again, that's my message for you. And he says, or those 18 upon whom the tower of Siloam fell. See, you had a catastrophe here. Catastrophes are nothing new. You had earthquakes in the time of Uzziah, the king of Judah. Okay, he says, think ye they were sinners above all men that dwelt in Jerusalem? Okay? He says, I tell you, nay, but except ye repent, ye shall all likewise perish. Okay? And that goes for many people. You're going to perish. Not just die that first day, but be cast into the lake of fire because you refuse to keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay? And that's what's going to happen to the world. You better repent. Time is running out. Let's look at this second coming of Jesus. Okay, as I spoke of earlier. And what's to come? Because again, before that you have the Great Tribulation, which is the worst time that man has ever known, or going to be the worst time that man has ever seen or known. And then you will have the second coming of Jesus, where he is going to pour out his wrath upon the whole world, because man has totally become contradictory. They are totally out of the way. They are totally out of course in this world. They don't obey God. They don't know God and aren't looking for God. This is in Matthew the 24th chapter. In the 3rd verse it reads, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, again speaking of Jesus, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Okay, so they asked him about the end of the world. What is to come? Okay, and Jesus answered and said unto them, first of all, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Okay, so the first thing he warns us of is deception. Okay, deception from those who would say, I am Christ. Not just those who are posing to be the Messiah, but also those who speak as if they represent the true and living God, as if they represent Christ. You can read about Paul and what he told the Corinthians about those false prophets. Okay? Those ministers of Satan. Okay? That's who you need to watch out for. There is so much deception running rampant when it comes to religion. Okay? We have many denominations, but as Paul said, there's one Lord, one faith, one baptism. Okay? It shouldn't be all these denominations. It shouldn't be all this deception, but that is what the world is full of. And the nations have become drunk with the doctrines of devils. So it says, and Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. So there's going to be deception. Then he gives another warning. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. See, so you're going to have more of these catastrophes, just like the one that happened in Haiti, around the world. You're going to have wars and rumors of wars like we see. Just America alone is in several wars. In Iraq, trying to go into Iran, in Afghanistan, okay? Also bombing Pakistan. Not to mention all the other covert operations that take place. That's just America alone. Many countries are involved in war. Many countries have famines. If you look at the increase or any chart on famines, famines are on the rise. Okay, pestilences. You can see all kinds of new diseases and illnesses